Welcome back. You're watching Network Africa. Do remember you can read up more on our top stories on our website, channelstv.com, or watch us live at m.channelstv.com on any of your mobile devices. And let's get into one of the main stories on the continent today, the guilty verdict hanging over Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius for the murder of his girlfriend, River Steenkamp. A South African Supreme Court today upgraded his sentence on appeal to murder from culpable homicide, for which he had received a 5-year sentence. Remember, it's been less than 2 months since Oscar Pistorius was released from prison to continue his sentence under house arrest. As state prosecutors say, Pistorius intended to kill Steenkamp and that she fled to the toilet during a row. Pistorius says he did not intend to kill his girlfriend, but mistook her for an intruder.
Of dolus eventualis, including error and objector, were incorrectly applied to the facts found to be proved relevant to the conduct of the accused. And 2, the trial court did not correctly conceive and apply the legal principles pertaining to circumstantial evidence. I conclude with the following order being to be made. 1, the first 2 questions of law reserved are answered in favour of the Director of Public Prosecutions. 2, the accused's conviction and sentence on count 1 are set aside and replaced with the following. Guilty of murder, with the accused having had criminal intent in the form of dolus eventualis. 3, the matter is referred back to the trial court to consider an appropriate sentence afresh in the light of the comments in this judgment.
Now, last year at the original trial, Judge Thokozile Masipa had ruled that the state had failed to prove intent of Pistorius killing his girlfriend. Some legal experts worried that the verdict could have set a bad legal precedent in a country with one of the highest crime rates in the world. A private advocate said it was an error of judgment by the trial court, saying Pistorius had intention to kill regardless of who was behind the door, and that should have been the conviction of the trial court. Well, in court today was our correspondent, Betty Dibia. She joins us now from South Africa. Betty, thank you for joining us on the program. Tell us more about what the Supreme Court's ruling today, and why Pistorius' sentence was upgraded.
I didn't hear that. Could you please repeat?
Tell us more about the Supreme Court's ruling today and why Pistorius' sentence was upgraded.
Well, first you have to see the judges, 5 of them were unanimous in the ruling, and they had time to look through everything. Picking holes in the trial itself, the application of the principle of dolus eventualis by the judge, and they said Judge Thokozile Masipa insist that she did not see evidence. The wrong questions were asked, and then they very useful to them was the issue of the evidence of the forensic expert, Chris Mangena, who works for the police. They said there was just no how that Oscar as a witness was quite unreliable with 3 different versions that he gave to the court, and that despite whoever was behind that door, in a small cubicle of the toilet, he claimed he panicked. And all that. But he was calm enough to get his gun and shoot. And there was no how he would have known that there was no how whoever was behind that door could have escaped, whether it was River or anybody else. Alive is alive.
Betty, in some of the pictures we're seeing there showing on our screen here in Lagos, we can see the Steenkamp family, River Steenkamp's mother being hugged by other well-wishers and family members. Tell us about their reaction to the new verdict.
Well, Jean Steenkamp was in court today, but there was no expression from her face, or from her, no words from her. But her father, who watched from his home, said the chapter is now closed. Probably now that justice is served, those families can move on with their lives. Probably to an extent they're getting closure. They believe that their child was murdered, that Oscar should have been convicted of murder. They're a bit relieved, but June, who was in court, didn't say anything, hasn't said anything so far. But it was just her father, Barry Steenkamp, who reacted and he said the chapter is closed. Now that justice is served, perhaps those families can move on with their lives.
Betsy, just finally, how's the rest of South Africa receiving the news? I know Oscar Pistorius is loved by quite a number of people, has quite a following in South Africa. So how's the rest of the country responding to the latest development?
Well, apart from the fact that there are so many events happening at the same time, at this moment in South Africa, national events as well, views are still divided as they were during the court trial. But many people are now focusing on what next. Is he going back to jail immediately? Is he going to face another trial? Is he going to stay at home pending the resentencing? But there will be no new trial. The case is going back to the trial court in front of Judge Tokozile Masipa. That will be next year because the year is already winding down. But what is not yet clear, even the legal experts are not, because there's really no precedent to go on here. But legal experts, some are saying he may have to be rearrested or he may have to hand himself over to go back to jail pending the resentencing hearing. The argument before the judge next year. But nobody knows. Probably by the end of today, we'll know whether he's been rearrested or during the week, before the weekend, we'll know whether that has happened. But that's really the focus now. The question is what happens now to Oscar.
Betty, thank you so much for joining us on the program. I know you'll keep your eye on that story. But let's bring in a legal expert now to look at the legal aspects of this and to interpret what might be happening after now, the implications of the verdict. Charles Adiogun Phillips joins us from Lagos. He's a former prosecutor at the International Court of Justice. Thanks for joining us on the program. So what happens now? Because this is all quite confusing. He's already serving a 5-year sentence, and now he's been given another verdict